Okay, so on the first episode of this build, I guess we'll say, I'm trying to do this as like a budget, make it nice and still work. Like, I'm not putting anything on here that's like complete junk that's gonna affect anything. Like, all the parts, even the cheaper ones, I've used them before and I know that they're solid and they work. The cheapest thing on it that I've never had an issue with really either is like the tail light and the lay down tag mount and stuff. But the first thing I'm going to do is get this ugly tail light off of here and get these ugly turn signals off of here, front and rear. And that's going to be the first step. Then from there, that's going to go, and I'm going to put a lay down curved tag mount on it. And then from there, I'm going to take this off too and this off too at the same time. So that'll like completely transform the whole back of this bike. A seat's going to be the next thing up, but that seat's going to have to do for a while. It's not terrible, but it ain't a step up seat, so like a good one. So that's going to be the first moves on this thing. I have this LED integrated smoke tail light. They're like 20 bucks on Amazon. They work. And it has the turn signals built right into it, so that'll clean up that whole back end of that thing. The lay down tag mount did not come yet. They're cheap too, like 20 bucks. And that'll clean up the whole back end of this. I've been stockpiling parts for a Dyna build now for a while, so these aren't budget, obviously. These are Thrash and Militant, and this is RSC clutch lever. I take those off every bike I sell, put the stock levers back on, and then I buy eBay MX pegs. And I put eBay MX pegs back on the bike, and I keep these because eBay MX pegs are like 40 bucks. These are like really expensive, but it's a one-time buy if you just keep taking them off. If you get another bike and you know you're going to get something that fits them, they fit Sportsters, Dynas, whatever. ODI grips with the white ends, and then I have ODI grip donuts too for those. Then I'll just go over some of the parts I already have a while. I got Speed King mid-bend bars for it. I have a crash bar. That's a eBay one. They work. They're not that expensive at all for what they are. Shinko 777 front tire. Then when I have this off, I'm going to sand these down from here down, take these off, and I'm going to paint these probably satin black or semi-gloss, I'm not sure. And I'll polish the rim out good and then get the Shinko put on. That'll clean up the whole front end. That little bit right there, take these ugly things off. The lever obviously will be different. I'll probably get an Elite lever for the front here because I like the Elite ones, and I'll just take that off next time if I do sell this bike eventually, and I'll just put this back on and that back on. But the thing is, them little parts like that really don't gain the bike that much value. Like, you're better off keeping them, these, and like the brake lever. If you just keep, and like that little linkage thing for the thrashing one I usually get, and the thrashing end of the foot or the shifter. Like, if you just keep all that little stuff like that, then you got all your controls already for your new bike, and you can spend the money one time. And they'll last you, like, basically forever, unless you crash and break a peg. But Thrasher will probably give you a new one, I bet. But, yeah, that's pretty much the build. I'm going to do a Saddleman step up, 6.5-inch pullbacks, Speed King mid-bends, ODI grips. But you'll see the transformation. I got my buddy sending me mid-controls. He's shipping them today. He lives far away, or I'd just go get them. So they should be here in the next couple days. So that'll be the next thing too. So it'll be basically, I'm going to be doing this build back to front pretty much because I have all the stuff to do the back, basically. The lay down tag mounts, 3 bolts. So I'm going to start back there, and then I'll show you what it looks like as I go to the front. So this is going to be like a budget build, like FXDX. You can turn the shocks full stiff in the rear, compression full stiff, forks full stiff, compression full stiff, everything full stiff on the whole suspension. It's pretty good actually, right like that. That's how my last one was, and this is a really clean bike. 16,000 miles on it. So you'll see it when it comes around. It's going to look pretty much like my last FXDX did. Pretty similar to it. I also want to pull the cover off here and see what rev limiter box is in it, because it's a Screaming Eagle, so it probably has a Screaming Eagle rev limiter, because it's a Screaming Eagle like factory edition basically. They built it at the dealership. Screaming Eagle air filter, Screaming Eagle jetted carb, Screaming Eagle exhaust, and I think it has Screaming Eagle ignition rev limiter box in it, and it has a low pressure gauge. All that was from the Harley dealership. So this is the basic start of the build. It's not going to be like a crazy build. Motors all stay in stock. Eventually maybe it'll get a 2-into-1 pipe, but this is just the first like steps to get it from Pappy to like how it needs to be set up for me to like it, to ride it basically, and it'll look a lot better. So I don't have the lay down tag mount yet, but that's how that cleaned that up. Look at the difference in that. Couple minutes. I got to get hardware for here. I'm going to get some Allen bolts like that, the hardware store, some nuts. Probably do nylon locking nuts on the back of all 4 of them, and washers. Maybe even just do stainless. I don't know. We'll see what they have. But I got rid of the mirrors up front, cleaned that up, or not the mirrors, the turn signals front and rear. Now the turn signals are in the tail light, and then I'll get these little LED turn signals that go on here. They're real small and they're brighter even, and they're not so ugly. But that's the back end. Sissy bars off. That only took probably 30 minutes, and that changed the whole look of the bike at the back there. If it had a saddleman on it and mid controls, it would look all right. And then just the bar setup, really, that's all it is. It's going to be a total transformation from what it looked like just with that little bit of stuff done to it. It's crazy the difference already that makes it look. I mean, the seat's ugly, but if you could get over the seat, you know, just the back of the bike is so much cleaner, and the tail light is so much better looking. That's a really right there, it's like a $20 mod, and that's it. And that cleaned up the whole back of the bike. So I'll get the hardware for that, button that all up, and then I'll go over adjusting the shocks on it and the forks. And then the mids are shipping today, so they should be here in the next 2 or 3 days. I'm hoping by the weekend, put the mids on, the pegs, and when I do the bars, I'll do the grips and the lever and all that shit. I might probably just take the mirrors off because I can't really run them. I might run no gauges too, because I'm getting 6.5-inch pullbacks on it with this top clamp I'm gonna reuse probably for now, but I could extend the wiring up there, but not sure what I'm gonna do with that yet. But yeah, the bike's coming out pretty nice already. Just with them few things, it makes such a big difference. I'm gonna put it back on the trickle charger now, and I got oil and oil filter and NGK plugs for it too.